Buongiorno, a beautiful morning here in Porto Cervo in the northeast corner of Sardinia. It's day one of the ROLEX TP52 World Championship 2026. We've got a record fleet, 15 boats from 11 different countries. We've got one new team from Italy, Vudu. We've got three past world champions here in the shape of Platoon Aviation, who've won 3 times, Sled won once and Gladiator also won once. But really, a 15 boat fleet, any team could win. Sled going for actually 3 regattas in a row winning. They won obviously last regatta of last season. They won in Puerto Portals last month and they come here maybe as slight favourites. And we caught up with Andrea Vicentini, the Italian navigator from Sled. Andrea, what do you feel about the prospects for the Sled team winning a World Championship here?
Well, of course, we're very focused on getting a good result here. It's not the traditional, the normal situation wind-wise in Porto Cervo. It's looking at as a light week, so we're sailing inside the straits, which didn't happen very often in this class, and so it's a completely different scenario with a lot of wind effects caused by the mountains and the islands, and so it's a very open battlefield, I may say.
How do you guys feel about that in particular then?
Well, we feel well. The team is doing an amazing job, and as I said, we're focused and see what today brings.
What's the strengths of the team? You've won 2 regattas in a row.
Well, we try to be consistent, not to make big mistakes, and just to keep a high average in the score. So that's our goal, basically. Not trying to win the race, but just to be consistent in being in the top parts.
As ever, you feel at home here in Porto Cervo?
Well, I can speak Italian here, so no, it's really good, really nice to be here, and it's a place we know, and so it's like feeling home here. So,
what's going to determine who wins the World Championship then?
I think it's the consistency for sure. Yes.
So there we go, Andrea Vicentini, Italian navigator on the Sled, bidding for 3 regatta wins in a row. A light day in prospect. We've got a new Italian team, the new kids on the block, Vudu, and this is Michele Regolo, who's the tactician. How do you feel then, first day at school as it were in this fleet?
That's amazing feeling. It's a big challenge in front of us. We have full of respect for everybody in the dock, and for us it's a great occasion to grow as a team and have a view on the future, hopefully in the Super Series.
A little bit of history about the team. Where did you start? How did you get together in the first place? A little bit of interest, or tell us about your owner as well.
Our owner is a big passionate about sailing. He owns a Perini, a Wallinano, but then he started to love sun racing, and our team manager suggested him to buy a TP52. We started in ORC and IRC regattas, and the results were good. He's going on big pleasure and passion about learning and about setting the higher bar for the competition. And then he knew about Super Series and he said, just why don't go there?
You're all super excited then today, are you?
It's super emotion. We really don't care now about result. It's just about learning, and we can't wait to go there today and have some fun.
What did you learn in the practice races? Were you in touch in the match, as you say?
We learned that the start is pretty important, maybe more than in other kind of races, because the speeds are really similar. So once you have an advantage in the beginning, that's a very huge advantage. And then, I don't know, we will see today.
And where are you from in Italy as a team?
The boat is based in Scarlino, Tuscany. We are a little bit from all around Italy as sailors. We have a Croatian guy, the strategist, we have a Spanish guy, mixed team, yeah.
And you feel completely at home. You've been here many times before in Porto Cervo.
I've been many times in Porto Cervo, and you can never know what to expect. Maestrale or east or south wind can be anything.
What do you think today?
Today we just go free mind and attack as more as we can, and we just enjoy the time.
Have a great day.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, indeed, welcome to Porto Cervo. Beautiful, beautiful day, as you might expect, on this lovely corner of Sardinia. The Costa Smeralda and the emerald blue waters shimmering and sparkling today as we're anticipating the first races of this 2026 ROLEX TP52 World Championship. Highly anticipated. Is the second regatta of the season for the 52 Super Series. I'm joined in the studio by Moritz Forster, our special guest this week. Moritz is normally project manager on the Red Bandit, a very, very experienced 52 or TP52 racer, mostly offshores, was racing here in the Sardinia Cup recently, so he's joining us this week. And on the water, welcome back Katie Dabson, our Olympic campaigner, past world champion in the Anacros 17, and she is on the LA Trail, but you've decided to change classes, Katie.
Decided to go back to kite surfing after my little venture into FX sailing for 2 years. Turns out it's harder than I thought, so massive credit to all of those guys in the boat. But yeah, I thought heading back to kiting now.
Well, it's our great pleasure to have you back in the media boat. How's it shaping up? You watched the practice races. What did we learn yesterday?
Oh man, it was, I think, big learnings yesterday from the practice racing. The right hand side of the race course was so powerful, and just starting at that boat end was super powerful. The first race you had a bit of a split, you had half the fleet going left, half the fleet going right, and then I think, yeah, the right hand came in super strong. Second race everyone went out right, and I think we're going to see a lot of the same today, so I think that start is going to be absolutely crucial for this racing.
This regatta is going to be about consistency in this record-sized fleet. Moritz, what's your interpretation of consistency? What do you need to do on day one?
Well, day one is the first day of 5 days, and it's pretty important to kind of stay consistent. A bad result on day one can be pretty fatal, and you might never really recover from it. So staying consistent into the first day, getting some 2 solid results is probably better than having 1 really bad result, which you can never really shake.
Katie, we're at 2 minutes to go. Tell us a little bit about risk management in this fleet on day one. You were saying that the right is powerful. Everybody will want to start off the boat end of the line, but how do you manage the risks?
Yeah, I mean, as Momo was saying, like, the first day is so important, and you can't win a regatta on the first day, but you very much can lose it if you have a bad race or a bad 2 races. So I think, yeah, is going to be weighing up how much of the gains you want to take on that right-hand side versus what happens if you get a bad start at that right-hand side. You're then going to be in dirty air sailing all the way out to that right-hand side. It's weighing up, yeah, risk versus reward on that. But I think for me, I'd be wanting to get very much the top third of that line, try and get a good start with some clear wind, and then pick my way out to the right-hand side in a clear lane. And that would be my strategy going off here, I think. You
watched Puerto Portals very closely, Katie. What did we see in terms of any boat speed advantages, and do we anticipate any significant advantages in this breeze?
Yeah, I did very much actually watch it. After my racing, I would watch the live stream when I came home. It was quite fun. I think what we saw is that, yeah, all the teams were super, super tight. I think in the windier stuff we had out there, we saw again kind of sled being pretty quick. I think in this lighter regatta, I think we'll maybe see some slightly different boats at the top. I think, yeah, we'll have to, based on yesterday, Gladiator was super, super quick, so they'll be one to watch, but it depends whether they can get off the line today, so yeah.
Less than 20 seconds to go before the start of race 1 here at the ROLEX TP52 World Championship. It's going to be all on timing, maximum speed and positioning on the line. We've got 5 seconds to go, and it looks like a clear start first away. All clear, says race officer Maria Torrijo. Couple of boats well back. Good start by the looks of things from Caballo Loco there in our foreground. The Brazilian boat going nicely off the start line. I think sled just to weather off them, but it's a very even start, Katie.
Yeah, really even start, and actually a little bit more spread down the line than I thought. I wonder if the race committee's put a little bit more pin bias on it than yesterday, just to encourage the boats to go down more towards the pin end. But super nice start from Sled and Caballo Loco down here. They've got super clear wind, able to sail really fast out to this side, but I am expecting them at some point to try and tack back. We'll see how much of a gain that right-hand side is compared to the clear start on the left.
Interesting start then, Momo. We're seeing no way back, making a nice start, getting out to the right side early.
Yes, I think as Katie said, there was quite a PORTO and bias on the line. I think they're trying to even out the line for the race course. As you can see, the teams are, a lot of them heading off to the right, and here you see Sled peeling off to the right. So I think they're all expecting it to be similar to yesterday. I was even talking to tactician Adrian Steed of Alpha Plus, and he said that the left-hand side of the course had a bit of current, so maybe that's playing a bit of a role today as well.
But it's pretty open straight off the line, isn't it? Not all the boats on the line on the gun, were they?
Well, I think some of the boats are happy to start second row on the right because it was so important yesterday to get out to the right-hand side. They were willing to kind of sacrifice starting on the gun for a second row or third row start to get out to the right. And yeah, I think that's what we're seeing here.
Good start by Caballo Loco, our new Brazilian team on the former Phoenix. Looking now at Trinity Racing, not such a great start. They really struggled actually yesterday in the practice races. But Katie, Sled for us at the moment, top 5.
Yeah, very much, and I actually think maybe that bias on the boat, the pin end, has made a big difference. Caballo Loco and Sled both tacked back onto port as predicted. They're kind of heading out to that right-hand side, but they are looking pretty strong, and they have crossed some of those boats who had slightly less good starts. They weren't able to do that yesterday in yesterday's racing, so I think, yeah, a bit more open start at the moment, but that right-hand side is going to probably come in strong.
Yeah, right-hand side looking good just now for Alkedo. Andrea, our Italian owner, really going well. They struggled a little bit yesterday in the practice races, but clearly, I was talking with Matteo De Luca, the bowman, said they were going back for a fairly stiff debrief. Things clearly have taken effect, and they're going nicely at the moment. Platoon Aviation were good in the practice race yesterday. Our top 2 at the moment then, Alkedo and Platoon Aviation. Momo, what else are we seeing at the moment?
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I really like Alkedo's position. In this wind, it's really important to kind of have a fast mode and to go fast in the direction in which you want to go, and Alkedo has a perfect position for that. No pressure from another boat and a clear lane. So, no, definitely agree with you. I think some boats are still trying to get out to left or get a free lane. But again, yeah, the fight to the right is on, as you can see.
Teasing machine, Caballo Loco then in our foreground, the furthest left boat, really struggling now. They've got a nice start, but look to be heading a little bit and relatively slow compared to the fleet below them. But Teasing machine got off the line nicely towards the boat end of the line, going well for the moment. They had some good moments yesterday in the practice races. Vayu, one of the quicker boats in these light conditions, Momo, aren't they?
Yes, the older hulls are a bit narrower, and Vudu and Vayu both are kind of the oldest boats in the fleet. They like, especially these conditions and even lighter conditions, less wetted surface area, kind of means less drag. But I think in these conditions, the boats are fully powered up. You're already relying on righting moments, so I don't think there are huge gains for those boats. I think where the gains are, especially kind of speed and a lot of crew movement. I think in these conditions it's super important to kind of also have a bit of roll in the tacks. I mean, your crew weight is roughly 20% of your overall boat weight, so it's super important to all move as a group together, and especially on the downwind, playing the little gusts with crew movement is very important.
We'll see that, but Vudu seem to be going reasonably well in their debut race here in the 52 Super Series at this ROLEX TP52 World Championship. The new Italian team lying about 12th at the moment, but Alkedo going nicely. Teasing machine, Platoon Aviation and Vayu are top 4. No way back as ever. Terry Hutchison joined once again by Lucas Calabrese, the Olympic bronze medalist in the 470 class, back with the programme. He missed the first regatta with Morgan Larson in as a strategist working with Terry. But as ever, they're really playing the percentages, not pushing the risk too much. They certainly showed they were quick enough in Puerto Portals, and a hugely experienced and successful team on board. Also Platoon Aviation, we saw them going well in the practice races yesterday. Confidence building. We had a nice chat with Vasco earlier on in the weekend. They're much more confident to change the keel, going better. Jordi Calafat said they're still a little bit quicker on one tack. We've got a small problem, but much more confidence in the team. Their problem, as you saw, I'm sure, in Puerto Portals was red flags, Momo, wasn't it?
Yes, because this fleet is now with a record high of 15 boats, it's super important not to get a penalty. It may seem obvious, but kind of staying away from those confrontations and staying clear, especially on the first day, is very important. And a penalty might cost you the whole race, and if you get a penalty in a race, you might, again, not recover from that and be kind of spat out to the back of the fleet.
That was one of these things, just talking about it, a little bit of port starboard there with Alkedo and Platoon Aviation. Platoon Aviation actually set up there quite nicely, haven't they, Momo?
Yes, I mean, it's a very tight call to make, and the fine line between kind of going behind Alkedo and tacking below them is a pretty difficult call to make, but I think they've made a pretty good tack there, and you can see they're kind of pushing a high mode there to get closer to Alkedo.
Trying to get up to Alkedo into their lee bow and affect them. But in the meantime, I think Teasing Machine a little bit more open. A little bit of a more open lane, but hopefully Alkedo and Platoon Aviation don't get too engaged at this stage in the race. They're a great shot overhead. Platoon Aviation now starting to affect Alkedo, aren't they, Momo?
Yes, I mean, they're absolutely pushing a high mode. I think, as you said, it's important not to get too concentrated on the infight right here and still focus on the fleet of 13 other boats. But yeah, Platoon in a super nice position, and Alkedo.
You can just see them here starting to affect the Italian boat now, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a question how long they can survive there. And when they're going to have to tack away again. But yeah, Platoon doing a really nice job here, really good mode.
But all to the good for Teasing Machine, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, if you're the boat that's not in the infight, you're kind of happy that the other two boats are fighting. But yeah, you see them getting really close right now. It's quite a interesting situation. But again, you see in the gusts, Alkedo will move forward again, and it's a tricky position also for Platoon to hold. As you can see, they're dropping back a little, and yeah,
that's incredible.
Really
Is it just really so close? Like a masterclass in attack and defence in some respects. Alkedo just started to be able to move forward again, as you say, in the puffs. Great helming on both skippers.
Well, that's really important to know your kind of mode. Getting a high mode and knowing how to have a fast high mode is super, super important.
But as I say, in the meantime, that's been all to the good to No Way Back in particular and Teasing Machine. But it's going to be super close around this top mark, Katie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be super close around this top mark. It looks like everyone's tacked slightly under the ley line. I think there's potential for there to be a bit of a wind bend around the land on this right-hand side, so they might get a little bit of a right-hand shift in the breeze, which might bring them up towards the mark a bit closer. But yeah, the boats are super close, and I reckon it's going to be minimal mistakes and just trying to keep going as fast as you can and then get a good clear lane for that spreader and that downwind.
Whose position are you liking best at the moment? No Way Back seem to be leading on the tracker on the water.
I think for me it kind of depends on whether they get that right-hand shift. I like the look of Teasing Machine at the moment. If they can make it in one without tacking, then I think they'll be good. If they both have to tack, then I think No Way Back might have it. But I think if I was to put my money on anyone right now, it would probably be Teasing Machine.
Yeah, No Way Back just a little bit pinned by Alkedo, aren't they, Momo?
Yes, and I think, yeah, but as you see, I think they're coming up a little bit and a better position than Platoon was before. I mean, they're bow forward, and I think pushing high mode is a little safer there. It was definitely an aggressive call from Vasco on Platoon to tack there, and they survived for a bit, but I think in the end they just had to tack out. Alkedo was making good gains on them then.
Indeed, anyway, Teasing Machine are our leaders on the water according to the tracker. Alkedo second, and No Way Back now tacking up towards the starboard ley line. Alkedo now have a nice open lane for the meantime, not harmed at the moment by the French team on Teasing Machine. Vayu in there in the mix, Momo going nicely.
Yeah, I mean, again, in these conditions, it's a strong boat, and I think they kind of did what they were planning on doing yesterday. I had a good chat with them during the debrief, and they were saying, you know, again, not risking it all. We're very happy with a solid, you know, top medium fleet position, and I think that's what they're going for. I mean, when they get out of when they get some clear air, it's a fast boat, and Manu Vailas definitely knows what he's doing.
He's a talent, isn't he?
Absolutely, I think he's a feeling sailor, and he's not too aggressive. And he said himself he doesn't want to go all out and try and get it first. He's there to kind of sail consistently, and I think in a 5-day regatta that's super important.
Indeed, watching No Way Back, then No Way Back just working up towards the starboard tack ley line, but very much in traffic now, Katie, aren't they, with No Way Back? No Way Back up against Platoon Aviation, were it ever thus. Terry against Vasco, windward mark, race 1. Plus ça change, as they say in France.
Yeah, I think they're going to come together a lot closer at the windward mark as well. You've got Platoon on the top. I think they're probably going to bear away a bit and try and go fast mode over the top of No Way Back. At least that's what I'd probably be trying to do. Trying to get just a little bit ahead of them for the rounding and then get in front of them on the spreader mark. That would be my plan. But yeah, it's battle after battle out here.
It is battle after battle. Any bets on red flags at the top mark, as we saw in Puerto Portals, could be the same again. But it's all to the good for Teasing Machine, for our French team.
Also interesting, Alkedo is tacked back here, and we'll see whether they manage to kind of cross Platoon. I think it looks like they will. They didn't quite make the ley line, and in a fleet of 15 boats, it is pretty important to set up your ley line early, or else you might not find a good way in very late.
Something going on with Trinity at the moment. I think they seem to be well out of the race at the moment. Also, Alpha Plus seem to have had a problem. They're way down in 15th, but well, maybe not. Trinity are doing their own thing very much in 14th. But I think it's going to be Teasing Machine. Eric de Turckheim, French owner-driver, leading round the first mark. We said many times in our previews, any team could win races, any team can win the regatta. We'll go through our own personal predictions when the race settles down a little bit, but Eric de Turckheim and Teasing Machine coming round the top mark, I think probably with a clear lead, Katie.
Katie's very quiet.
Just watching then, No Way Back just seemed to have lost a little bit. As Katie was just saying, getting out to the ley line early seems to have paid for Teasing Machine and Alkedo. Vayu have a little bit of work to do coming in late on port. We're watching how Platoon Aviation get through. They'll be on to starboard first, and that's going to mean that No Way Back, I think, will have to go behind Momo, won't they?
Yes, and I mean, tricky position for Vayu here. They're going to have to tack early and go in a very high mode to get around the mark, which is going to cost a lot with all the boats coming at full speed around. But yeah, nice move from Teasing Machine to tack right ahead of Alkedo. They seem to have a nice lead. But yeah, nice tight mark situation here going on.
Alkedo round in second, then they're clear. I've got clear lane well ahead now, and Vayu just holding up, no way back, and Platoon, all three boats rounding together. Vayu in control with mark room, but they're very slow coming away from the mark, but holding their position.
You can see Vasco already holding the protest flag, ready for any situation.
I'm not sure what he's doing, pushing arm, but it's a fairly animated weather mark rounding, as we might expect on Platoon Aviation. Patrick round nicely. Sled in the mix, but a little bit deeper than they would hope to be in 7th. Provezza 8th, Gladiator round in 9th. So a good first beat for our French friends, 1st and 6th at the moment. Early jibe, Momo, for most of the teams.
Early jibe, and I was going to say, I think a jibe set would even be a very good move here to get off to the side, the right side. Or
the problem with your jibe set, you're always in the dirt of the boats coming across the offset leg. But
I think that's exactly what Alkedo did. They went straight a little bit and then jibed to get out of the dirty air. But yeah, you see most boats wanting to go to the left now. Some boats continuing, but not so sure about that.
Anyway, seems like no way back have come out of it reasonably, deciding not to go for the early jibe. Katie, what's your thoughts on this first downwind?
I think for me the early jibe is going to pay. I think the reason that the other boats potentially aren't early jibing is because they want a clear lane. I think, yeah, you're already seeing them all jibing back. I think after that 4-boat pile up at the windward, I think actually where Vayu tacked under the fleet, held all the fleet out, it let the two leaders get a nice little extension on their lead. They were able to cleanly jibe out, and I think playing the long game, Vayu was thinking if we get inside at this windward mark, then we can jibe set inside everyone at the spreader. So really, really nicely done by them. Yeah, I think again, jibing out to that left-hand side looking downwind is going to be powerful. Hopefully no way back. I've got a clear lane, clear breeze to go back over to that side, but we'll see how costly that holding on for a little bit was, or actually maybe if the clear wind is again.
Indeed, it's a little bit of an investment then, but Alkedo very much in a strong position, as indeed our teasing machine. No way back, poised, I think, on that right side going down the run. What do you think about No Way Back's position and their choice, Momo?
Well, actually, good gains to go on a bit further. I think, as you said, yeah, the jibe set at the start can be quite costly, and you're going to have to go quite high to get the speeds that you want. But yeah, nice position, clear air, can do their own thing. The problem that Vayu, Platoon and Paprec will be having is that they're so close together that they're always watching behind, looking over your shoulder, and then you sometimes end up not doing your own thing and sailing the best VMG to the bottom mark.
But the battle at the front is between Teasing Machine and indeed Alkedo. Andrea Lacorte, little bit underperformed in Puerto Portals, but they come here punching hard, very much their home waters. Certainly Matteo De Luca, the bowman, lives about half an hour away. One of the few sailors in the fleet who actually live in Sardinia. Exception being, of course, now Francesco Bruni with the Luna Rossa team, lives down in Cagliari. But Alkedo Vitamina then taking the lead from Teasing Machine down this run. No way back, Momo poised in 3rd, Sled in 4th.
Yeah, it's looking good. I mean, these conditions, as you can see here on Alkedo, moving the crew weight with every little puff is super essential, and then pushing the depth, getting to your speed numbers is always the easy thing on these legs, but getting the actual angle that you want and getting deep enough is the difficult bit, which takes some skilled driving. And yeah, Andrea Lacorte looking like he's doing a good job, and Eric de Turkheim on Teasing Machine as well.
Indeed, but they have a little bit of a jump on the fleet, don't they?
Yeah, it's good to be in clear air here, heading over to the side that you want. It's exactly the position that you like, and not in an infight with anybody. They've got enough space to each other. But yeah, I think probably favoring Alkedo here a bit. They can kind of react to what Teasing Machine will do. and they're probably going to wait until Teasing Machine jibe.
Indeed, Katie, what's your interpretation of this first run then? How's the breeze looking as we get down towards the leeward mark? We've got this land on the left side, presumably adding a little bit of a heading effect.
Yeah, I think it's going to kind of do the same as it did on the upwind, that left-hand side being a bit stronger. I also wonder if maybe there's a couple of channels upwind, so I wonder if maybe you get a bit of a wind acceleration through there. But looking at the fleet, I quite like what Alkedo's done, trying to get kind of like deep inside the fleet, and then put themselves in a really powerful position on Teasing Machine. Although looking at the speeds, Teasing Machine has been half a knot to a knot quicker for quite a lot of this run, just with that higher angle. So it's two very different strategies, and we'll just have to see at the jibe point whether Alkedo are able to jibe on Teasing Machine, or whether Teasing Machines have got far enough distance ahead that they're clear ahead on the jibe.
Indeed, but Momo, let's not get too excited about who's going to win this race. This is about consistency. It's about being top 3, top 4, top 5 every day, every race.
Absolutely, yeah. Not having any real shockers, and again, you see the top boats, you see the favorites at the front. You know, no way back, Platoon. They're fighting in a very solid position, as expected to see. Yeah, Sled also nice position. I think they're doing their own little thing as they usually do, keeping out of any fight. But still, very good position in the middle. No affected wind from any other boat. Yeah, I think that.
You obviously watch this as a fan all the time. Looking at Platoon Aviation, you know, they were top 3, definitely going up towards the windward mark. Then just got a little bit engaged, and now they found themselves in 6th. They can't go any lower than that, really, can they?
No, it's really important to not lose any boats here. But I think they absolutely know that. I think again, yeah, not attacking under Alkedo on the upwind there is an aggressive move, and maybe an aggressive move early on. And you can debate about that, but I think staying out of the way of other boats and doing your own thing is just very important.
But you know, it's almost like these Vasco and Terry have a magnetism. They're drawn together on each race. Doesn't matter which team they are. But anyway, that's a rivalry we'll talk about forever. But on board quickly with the Paprec. They were runners-up at the World Championship last year in Cascais. Just missed the world title by a single point. They were so good in the breeze, but this is a very, very different race course, Momo, isn't it? This is light winds. We're looking at light winds for most of the first few days, aren't we?
Yes, yeah. I mean, the wind is the week is looking like kind of every day similar thermal breeze, easterly breeze. Got a good weather report from my good friend Lacorte, a very good navigator this morning, and yeah, it's looking like thermal breeze, kind of a slow shift to the right over the day, 8 to 12 knots, but beautiful conditions for these boats. And you see
this really is classic Porto Cervo, Costa Smeralda, light breezes, flat water, beautiful scenery. It's about precision sailing today, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the fine adjustments in helming, and I think a good helmsman and somebody with a lot of feeling is very important. Yeah, but you see the breeze is slowly picking up. I mean, some people hiking on the downwind. Yeah.
Indeed. Anyway, it's looking like a battle between Teasing Machine and Alkedo. Interesting. Katie was just saying she feels Teasing Machine quite quick than this downwind. That continues to be the case, Katie, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm quite liking their kind of seem to be going slightly higher but a faster mode. I think that's paying off. I think it's such a fine line in the slightly lighter stuff with not taking too much height for speed. I think that's not the BMG mode, but I'm kind of anticipating that the boats are going to be wanting to turn left at this bottom mark. So Teasing Machine in a super nice position to be able to do that on Alkedo. But yeah, they're consistently still pretty quick, looking good to me.
Indeed, Eric de Turckheim, the owner-driver, Laurent Page, vastly experienced French ocean racer and match racer, is the tactician project manager. Aymeric Chapelier is navigator again, super adaptable offshore and inshore. Damien Yell is the main trimmer. Laurent Mahai is the jib trimmer. Paco Laputra is the downwind trimmer. Pit is Antoine Tuillier. Frederic Bruce, grinder, along with Pierre Leunen, who's the grinder and floater. Christian Pontieu, runner and strategist. Quentin Boucharcourt is the grinder boat captain. Elliot Michel is the mid bow. Jérôme Taillet is on the bow, and they are leading this first race of the Rolex TP52 World Championship 2026 here in Porto Cervo, battling with the Italian boat Alkedo. Vayu.
Beautiful French accent there.
Thank you very much. Vayu hanging in there nicely in third, aren't they? They're going well. Showed well, I think, on the first day, I think, if I remember rightly, in Puerto Portals.
Yes, I mean, they managed to kind of keep Platoon behind them around the top mark, and now they're doing nicely. I think, yeah, Sled is also doing nicely. They kind of, again, kept out of the battles with no way back behind them now, and I think they'll also have a good run to the gate. Yeah, Platoon and no way back. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen between those two boats at the gate.
But Katie, a bit of a jump, a bit of a gap between the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, isn't there? There's a gap between Alkedo and Vayu and Sled.
Yeah, and I think the majority of that came from that 4-boat pile-up at that windward mark. I think especially in this stuff where it is kind of a gain feature out to one side, if you get a bit clear ahead, then it's like the rich get richer. Like, they're going to be able to sail clean, they're going to be able to sail their own race, not going to have to engage and actually get to that game feature in the fastest way possible. So yeah, I would expect to see that gap kind of building slightly, and then from third down, I think that's going to be super tight, places changing all the time.
Indeed, interesting. We're seeing Teasing machine going around the right-hand mark, looking like Alkedo go around the left-hand mark, Momo.
Yeah, I think Alkedo know that they have a bit of space behind, so I think they're choosing the other mark to maybe make a bit of an attack on Teasing machine. Definitely an interesting call, but let's see. I mean, they'll also stay out of the bad air from the...
That's right. I mean, maybe at this stage in the championship, day one, race one, you're minimising your risk, using your boat speed, sailing your own numbers. If anything, though, perhaps a little bit more pressure on that left side looking upwind. I'm not sure. But, you know, you can afford to be a little bit conservative and bank a second.
But they also have space to the boats behind.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think making a decision like that doesn't have huge risk. And I mean, they've tacked back again, so they're not going to let this split become too big.
And they can just pick their lane up through the kites. But they've got, between the two of them, Katie, they've got quite a big lead, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. I mean, third boat Vayu is only just going through now, although Vayu's actually made really big gains down that run. I think we saw the power of that jibe set there. I mean, No Way Back's kind of been sucked all the way back into the fleet, and I think the jibe set at the top, boats will be learning from that downwind, and I think even more so at this top mark, it'll be so crucial to be able to get on that inside and do the jibe set. But yeah, top two boats pretty clear ahead, another little gap towards Vayu, and then the rest of the pack is like, yeah, nose to tail.
Sled just ahead of No Way Back, I think, coming around the leeward gate.
Beautiful drop from Sled. I mean, they basically dropped the kite in one boat length. Good gains on No Way Back, keeping the kite up as long as possible. And yeah, that's textbook TP52 sailing for you.
Indeed, then it's getting busy round this leeward gate. Really, Gladiator coming in. Trinity, I think, there to leeward. Sled, as you said, Momo, really made a real textbook rounding, keeping their clear air and being able to keep a little bit of a loose check, a loose cover on No Way Back. But it's busy at that leeward gate now, isn't it, Momo?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of picking your position early on, coming into the gate is quite important. Here we see Trinity having a bit of a difficult drop.
But looking like, Katie, maybe Platoon Aviation have made a bit of a gain, perhaps a couple of boats. It's going to shake out on this upwind as we get further up this leg, but they're in a reasonably strong position relative to the boats immediately behind them.
Yeah, I think they've come out of that leeward mark quite nice. It's always quite nice leading a pack out of that leeward mark, because you can kind of set the angle, and everyone else has got to try and kind of match your angle. And we saw on that first upwind they had such a good high mode in that little battle at the top. So actually, I think Caprex already had to kind of flick out, doesn't want to live in that lane. But yeah, Platoon, good gains around that leeward mark for sure.
Indeed, but looking good for just now for Teasing Machine and Alkedo. What do you see as the relative values of Alkedo's position vis-a-vis Teasing Machine, Momo?
Well, they've got a bit more kind of a conservative position. You know, if you're the boat all the way to the right, you're really hoping for the right to pay, but they can react basically. As a second boat, you know, you're not leading, you're not making all the decisions, so they can wait for Teasing Machine to tack back. You know, if they're ahead, they're ahead, and if they're not ahead, they can kind of react to them coming back. But it definitely looks like a nice position for Alkedo and some good speed mode.
Katie, what are we seeing in this race course then relative to what we learned yesterday? Is it it's fairly similar, is it?
Yeah, for me it's super similar. In both the practice races, the boats that were kind of the furthest right upwind and then the furthest left downwind, they were the leaders, and if you could get out to that side first in clear wind and then tack back, that was the gain. And I think, as I said, like going back to the start, I'm quite surprised not more boats tried to make the most of that starboard end, given how strong it was yesterday. But yeah, similar day to yesterday, and I expect more of that. So I think it'll be bigger and bigger battles to get out to that right hand side, and more congested at that boat end of the start. And I think these teams are going to have to really kind of fight for that boat end.
It's interesting talking to a number of different sailors over the course of the build-up, and the prediction is a high-scoring regatta, Katie.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. I think if you've got such a big gain feature, I mean, if anyone's ever sailed in Garda, it's probably very similar to that. You sail to the cliffs, and if you can't get to the cliffs first, then you've got a bit on. And it's going to be one of those. I think it's going to be lots of kind of inconsistent scoring, depending on if you have a good start or a bad start. But that probably means the points are going to be super close, and it's going to be all to play for right until the very end. And it's just about who can make the least mistakes. And I think the most consistent teams, the teams that can consistently get kind of the top fives, I think they're going to be the ones that really shine this regatta.
So who's your hopes with for the regatta, for the world title, Katie? Who are you putting your money on?
Is that objectively or subjectively?
Both. Head. Who are you putting your money on with your head?
With my head? Oh, that's a tricky one. I mean, Alkedo are a pretty solid team. I think they have shown themselves kind of the last year, and I think with the slightly lighter breeze and stuff, I think last year they were really powerful in that. I think Gladiator, if they can switch it on like they switched it on yesterday, have a really good chance. So both those teams, I think for me, could be pretty strong if they sail their best this week.
So that's head, heart with Gladiator. Momo, what's your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to have to say something different to Katie.
Completely.
I put my money on sled. I think it's Alkedo obviously very strong, but I think sled is kind of doing what they always do, chipping away and not having any big breaks, but also never having any big scores. So I'd put my money on sled. Okay,
well, I'll leave you to I'm making no comment, but interesting, Katie. We're on board briefly with Gladiator. Gladiator are 2024 world champions, but it's a different setup. Obviously Tony Langley missed out on being able to sail, unfortunately, in Puerto Portals. They have a new tactician in Victor Diaz de Leon, so it's a new dynamic. They're learning their communication and their the finer points. What's your interpretation of that, Katie?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, like they missed out, or Tony missed out on racing in the first regatta, which I think was quite hard to come into this having actually not done that much time as a new team. But Tony was on Corinthian the whole time, and he was listening to kind of the live stream or the comms, all of that, so he was well in tune with what was going on. From what I've seen, they're actually working together super well. The dynamic seems really good, and they've also got a new coaching team with them this year, and I think yeah, from having sat in the debriefs, it all seems super productive. The conversations are really productive, and yeah, I think it could be it seems to be a pretty powerful team.
And you just expanding on that, new coach for Gladiator this year is Morgan Reeser, who was previously with Platoon Aviation, a great Olympic coach and a great big boat coach, Katie.
Yeah, really great. And yesterday was actually the first debrief I sat in with them all, and it was yeah, it was just really cool to be kind of listening to his. He has such a wealth of experience, and you can really see that. And he's it's quite cool and impressive to watch. And I think he's going to go far with the team and take the team kind of up to that next level.
And as our cliche for the week is, we're dealing with absolutes. There's no ifs, buts and maybes, and that's the way that Morgan works. Really, he's very factual, doesn't get involved too much in the emotions, and he really is one of the coaching talents in the world, isn't he?
Very much so, and I think that's probably why it works so well with Tony as well, because he's also very much facts. Like, this is the way it is, this is how it happened, this is what needs to happen. Very process oriented, and I think they really complement each other in that respect.
So that's a programme to watch, but in the meantime, a little tacking battle developing now between the Teasing Machine and Alkedo, Momo.
Yes, I mean, Teasing Machine played that right side very nicely, waited for the right shift to set in and then tacked back in. And now they're staying between the mark and their direct competitor, which they're doing quite well. Yeah, Alkedo has had to tack back out, but they've come back. Yeah, you see them, Teasing Machine going back out, and I think this will continue until they feel like they're on ley line.
It did, but great action at the front of the fleet. Race 1 here in Porto Cervo. In third, Vayu. Fourth, our sled. Fifth, Platoon. No way back, just a little bit deeper. It's all about learning for them, isn't it, Momo? It's a vastly experienced team, but every day is different, every race is different, and they're having to learn together on this race course.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you can see nicely on Vayu right now this kind of a very deep setup. Your travellers almost all the way to windward. You have quite a bit of twist in your sails, and the foot of the jib is rounded nicely. So you're going for all-out power. You're not having to depower the boats now. This is what the TP52 really likes.
They're going well. They had a really strong first day from memory in Puerto Portals. Then it got a little bit tough, but they're a very, very experienced team. And as you said, Monohull, yeah, indeed, they won the first race in Puerto Portals. Started with a 1-4 in Puerto Portals and led after day 1. So could Vayu do the same again here? Certainly. They have the potential, Momo, don't they? Absolutely.
I mean, I got the honor of sailing with them for a few of their training days in Puerto Portals, and it's a really nice vibe on the team. They don't get stressed. Nobody raises their voices. They really know what they're doing. They've been sailing this boat for a while, and I mean, although you have you know half the crew is Whitcraft family, they're four
Whitcraft. Members
about as professional as amateur sailors can get, and they've spent so much time on TP52s that they're definitely a strong team.
I always cite this story of them racing in Scarlino as a family, and there was the boat captain from Quantum at the time. Brendan Darrar went for dinner, and there was a discussion about who filled the dishwasher. And it's like, for me, that's the absolute peak of being a family team. Who fills the dishwasher at night in Scarlino? I absolutely love it, but they're in third at the moment. They have the confidence of having won a regatta before in the USA, and so they know that what they can do if they put everything together all the way through a regatta. They maintain a high level of consistency. But it's interesting just seeing that right-hand breeze strengthening there, the shift coming through, Momo, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. I mean, the boats all the way on the right, you see still kind of getting that strong right shift. I think important here is also not to overstand the ley line. I think that's the only thing that can really hurt you on this leg if you kind of sail too much distance. But if you're forced to do it by other boats, there's often no way out.
Indeed, but that is quite a comfortable lead, almost 300 metres, isn't it, between Alkedo, Vitamina and Vayu. Platoon Aviation, I think Vasco, Harmler, Spreer, Jordi, Calafat and Co would be pretty happy with the fourth if they can hold on to that. Likewise, probably Sled wouldn't be too upset starting with a fifth, because this is a long regatta, no discards as ever.
I mean, I could imagine also Alkedo going for a bit of an attack on the downwind and not doing the same as Teasing Machine will do. Yeah, as you said, the lead is big. You don't have a huge amount to lose by doing something different to Teasing Machine, and I think.
What are Teasing Machine doing just now in terms of their position relative to what are Alkedo doing relative to Teasing Machine at the moment?
Well, you're going to have to try and survive there and go fast mode. It looks like they could be close to being on ley line. Yeah, I think they're just knowing that they have to survive there until they get to the top mark. But yeah, right now not looking like they're
just about in ley line. You do get the different perspectives when you get up to the drone shot. But the clear thing is they're going to round. In the top two boats are well clear. By and large, the chat round the boat park in Puerto Portales, or immediately after Puerto Portales, is how quick Alkedo are.
Yeah, I mean, you could see there they went a little bit overlay and were going a fast mode, and doing 2 tacks when you're already overlay is painful. So I think they've accepted they were behind, and now, yeah, they're not too far away from Teasing Machine. So definitely still something to happen. But yeah, Teasing Machine looking like a very strong contender to win this race,
and would be well deserved. Great way to start for Eric de Turckheim and his French team. Came into the circuit before to really to warm up and to practice their inshore skills ahead of the Admiral's Cup, and they've become quite addicted, I think. Really enjoying their time on the 52 Super Series, stepping up resources. This boat, of course, was a former Gladiator, and that is not quick.
Lost the halyard. Oh.
Yeah, the kite has gone in the water. Now that is Alkedo's opportunity. Now they need to get that kite out of the water, Momo, don't they?
Yes.
The kite halyard clearly didn't cleat.
Yeah.
And that's an unforced error. And they really should be able to get up fairly quickly if they could just keep it out of the water.
Yeah, you see them getting down the spare halyard, connecting it to the head, and trying to set the kite as quickly as possible. But yeah, so definitely not what you want happening. And
do you think the halyard fitting went, or?
Well, I mean, if you really
on.
get unlucky, you kind of the Talaska, you don't close it properly, and it holds for most of the way up, and then when the pressure builds, it opens up. But it shouldn't really happen at this level, so they'll definitely be kicking themselves. But yeah, the kite going back up. I think getting lucky whilst having bad luck, that they could get it fixed this quickly.
Anyway, they do have it up. It's filling. It's cost them a few boat lengths relative to Alkedo Vitamina, perhaps. Let's see, but they're building back up to speed. In the meantime, Sled round the top mark in 5th, Platoon Aviation round in 4th, Vayu in 3rd.
I think for Teasing Machine, it's definitely one of these mistakes that you will do once and then you will never do it again. And I think that's where the experience shines of teams that have been in the Super Series for a long time, that these mistakes don't necessarily happen.
As Terry Hutchison says, it's double check, the triple check. They made a mistake here many years ago that cost them, or nearly cost them, the championship. And it's really about... as Terry says, double check, the triple check, always being super safe, always making sure that the job is done properly. And indeed, there they are coming round the top mark in 6th, behind Sled. The two Prevezza and the former Prevezza just going round almost together. Prevezza leading Crioula. Crioula had a really good regatta in Puerto Portales, finishing 6th or equal 6th.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good boat, and buying a boat of a strong team is also great, because what I think people often underestimate is you can build yourself a new boat, but you won't have the numbers and the data to come with it. Well, once you have a boat that has been sailed for years and been sailed well, you're buying the full package, which is kind of very good to have. And I think you see these with the new teams and the new boats that they're building, is that you just need time to figure out your boat and to build the data that you use to sail.
Indeed. We see that a little bit with Teasing Machine. Teasing Machine was the former Gladiator, starting to really get to grips with it. I think really in that first year they didn't have the time or the resources. The focus was on the Admiral's Cup. Now they're starting to optimise the boat a little bit, and in no small way, I think, inspired by what their counterparts on Paprec have achieved. Paprec, of course, finishing on the podium overall last season. Not having such a good rounding though, Momoa. They got a bit of a kite twist.
Kite twist, yeah. I mean, you usually on the upwind, somebody goes down to zip the kite, and it's obviously super, super important to not get anything twisted up there. But it's not so easy having a 260 square meter kite downstairs in a boat and only having a few minutes to sort it out. So mistakes like that can happen.
Well, that mistake has cost Teasing Machine, Katie, Alkedo Vitamina, looking like they might just be stealing the lead of this race one. ROLEX TP52 World Championship here in Porto Cervo could be the advantage to our Italian team. A little bit of operator error, Katie.
Yeah, that was so painful to watch. Yeah, that, I mean, fair play for how quickly they sorted it out. I think that kind of, when you manage to keep that calm, like when you watch the kind of the footage of them solving the problem, there was no franticness happening. It was all just everyone snapping into action, doing what they need to do, getting that kite back up. And I actually think they were rehoisting the kite just before Vayu got to that mark. So that just shows how kind of vital getting that lead on the kind of first lap and a half has been. And I think if they can still manage to finish in second place, that'll be, yeah, massive credit to them for dealing with adversity on this first race.
On board with Alkedo Vitamino, Andrea Lacorte, super passionate Italian owner-driver. They've really stepped up their game, learned from their first season, and optimised the boat. New keel on this year. Sail programme developing all the time, and Cameron Appleton, really one of the talents in this fleet.
You can really see that right shift kicking in there with Alkedo. I mean, sailing a lot lower and pretty much the same speed. So that's that right side again coming in strong.
Anyway, we're learning that, or the fleet are learning the geometry of this race course. How's that going to affect tactics and strategy in the next race, Momo?
Well, yeah, as you say, it's a learning process. I think, going into the first day, the teams only have the knowledge from the day before, which, as Katie said, is similar to today. I think the left side is not quite as bad as it was yesterday. So definitely kind of options. But yeah, you always have the knowledge that you have and the training days that give you the input of the race course. And I think the race committee reacted nicely on the start to kind of try and even out all the boats wanting to go to the right by lifting the pin end of the line.
Interesting, a little bit more puff, a little bit pressure coming down, I think, with that group, Momo, really. You can just see some darker water.
Yeah, yes, yeah, no, it's I think, as the weather report said, slightly building breeze, steadily going right over the day, and you'll get these puffs up into the 11, 12 knot range.
So the big question is whether Maria, our race officer, takes a little bit longer break and anticipates the wind building. I know she was very keen to get a race away. We're out at 12 o'clock. It's only just coming up to 1 o'clock.
I think it should be maximum breeze from here onwards, not building any more than the kind of 11, 12. But yeah, I think this is the kind of midpoint of the day, thermal breeze at its maximum. But yeah, beautiful sailing conditions.
Everybody looking very relaxed on board Alkedo Vitamina.
knowing that it's gonna one more jibe into the finish, and it better be a good one.
Talk to us about the jibe then, Momo. What are we seeing? What's the
Well, I think
key elements?
All the boats are on the A1.5 kite, outside jibing. It's where you take the clue of the kite outside the fourth fourth day. Yeah, I mean, important is to get the kite around super quickly. You saw Alkedo there delaying the mainsail for quite a while. You basically are aiming to have the kite filled on the new tack before the mainsail then comes around, and Alkedo did it beautifully. That's where you really need the line speed of the grinders to pull that kite around, and one or two guys on the boom holding the main back, waiting until the kite is set and then letting the main go to the other side. And then really important is have the whole crew squash. Crew weight, as I've said, and as I will say many times, is super important, and getting that extra little gain by having the whole crew squash the weight to windward is super important.
It's literally like tacking or jibing your laser, isn't it?
Absolutely. These boats are super sensitive to weight, windward, leeward, and fore aft. And I think there are big gains to be made moving as a pack on one of these boats.
So more time spent practicing on the water is beneficial to everyone.
Absolutely, and in the case of Teasing Machine, things can go wrong, and they will go wrong, and knowing exactly what to do when can save this race, as you can see. I mean, yeah, it should have been their first place, but it went wrong. But recovering and only losing one position, I think is really strong.
I mean, what's the mental feeling, the mindset when you lose that first place? I mean, it's good for Alkedo Vitamina, but is that going to hurt Teasing Machine, or can they take some confidence in their processes, in what they did, and know they've sailed well?
Well, I think for Teasing Machine, a first or a second in this regatta is a super strong result. I really hope for them that they remember that. It is frustrating when you have such a big lead to give away the first place by a mistake of your own. But yeah, it's in this fleet of 15 boats, a second or a first is really strong. So I think they can be proud of themselves either way.
Indeed, Teasing Machine finished 11th in Puerto Portals, won race number 5 and finished with a second. So they have the capability, just that mistake costing them, unfortunately. But as we say, you make that mistake once. Vastly experienced offshore team. They've won many of the key offshore races.
I'd say it's the offshore expertise that's set in there at the top mark rounding. I think it's in an offshore race, it can easily happen that you blow a kite and that you're going to have to kind of react to that. So I don't think there's strangers to that situation. So they knew exactly what to do and how to get it back up. But yeah, shouldn't happen again.
I don't think there needs to be much of a debrief there to discuss that mistake.
Maybe just a round of beers.
Yeah, exactly. The bowman buying the beers then. Anyway, on board briefly with Platoon Aviation, Jordi Calafat there at the back of the boat. Vasco looking quite relaxed to leeward. I think their race is sailed. They're not going to get past Vayu. Neither are they going to lose sled about 100 metres or so behind. What's Vasco saying there, Momo?
Yeah, I think he's you can see by his body language he's definitely relaxed. And yeah, again, not going to catch Vayu, only keeping sled behind, but it's a straight into the finish there. Yeah, I think a 4th place is good. Obviously, Platoon look for those firsts and seconds. But yeah, again, consistency is going to pay, and I really do hope that Teasing Machine kind of keep this up and stay consistent. I think you have to sail every race individually, and getting a strong place in the position in the race before doesn't mean anything in the race after that. So resetting and kind of going back to basics is super important.
So the finish line, the first gun of these ROLEX TP52 World Championship beckons for Alkedo Vitamina. Andrea Lacorte is the owner, driver, Cameron Appleton, the tactician, Alvaro Marinho, strategist, Niccolo De Felici, the young navigator, to much more of an Italian team than last year, and they are taking first blood here. And Andrea Lacorte punches there. Clearly, he's happy with that one. They had a good day in Puerto Portals, posted 2 wins, the only team to win 2 races in Puerto Portals, but then the next day they came out and posted a 20-point day. Such is the nature of racing on the 52 Super Series. But anyway, a win to Alkedo Vitamina, Andrea Lacorte. Second, Hugues de Turckheim and his French team. All relatively happy, handshakes all round. Good place, good second place for them. And then coming through, Vayu. Vayu sailed a really good race, Momo, didn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, not to be biased here, but definitely.
You're allowed to be biased.
So, no, very, very happy for them. They did exactly what they discussed yesterday in the debrief, kind of stayed out of the fight, sailed a clean race, and you get paid with a third position.
Indeed, Katie, Platoon Aviation coming through in 4th. They actually sailed pretty well considering that top mark first time up. They came out of that better than just about anyone, other than Vayu.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, no, exactly. I think they sailed a really good race. They had quite a few little battles, and it's really hard to actually disengage from those battles and to kind of keep your position. So I think they sailed a really good race, and I think they can be really happy with a 4th.
And likewise, I think Momo Sled can be happy with that 5th.
Absolutely. Consistent as ever, staying out of the fights. Yeah, one to look out for.
Indeed, it's all about consistency today, but we'll roll almost certainly straight into race 2. Sled, the winners of the first regatta of the season, start with the 5th. No way back, finished on the podium 3rd, weren't they, in Puerto Portals. Percentage race, minimising risk, not getting into too much trouble. So a 6th is a good platform, a good foundation for Terry Hutchison, Peter de Rima, and the team. Peter hangs over the helm to Terry. Terry thanks Peter for his good work in that race. So no way back to 6th. Provezza, I think, coming through.
Yeah.
Or Crioula, in fact, indeed, coming through for 7th. And Provezza 8th. These 2 boats stuck together by elastic through that race. And then Caballo Loco. So Brazilian boats in the 7th and 9th. There are a tactician on Caballo Loco just counting to see how many boats are behind you. If you're top half, it's always good. When there are fewer boats behind you than there are in front of you, then it's not so good.
But in a 15-boat fleet, you're going to have to do some counting.
Exactly. Anyway, what a great fleet. Then Trinity coming through. Actually, a 10th for Trinity. They were deep early on, Momo, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, fighting your way back and kind of even those 5 places you can gain from last to 10th are super important. And, you know, in the end, they might cost you dearly or be the difference between trying to get onto the podium or not.
Pat Prick, I think, getting 13th. Pretty deep for them, unfortunately. Alpha Plus in 12th. Allegri 11th. Vudu coming through in 14th. Their first race in the 52 Super Series. Runners up, vice world champions in the ORC fleet, and Gladiator, unfortunately, coming through in 15th. But you don't win the practice races, do you?
No, and yeah, tough day at the office for Vudu and Gladiator, but it sounds very cliche, but kind of resetting for the next race and not letting this one affect your next one is kind of pretty important for the mental state of all the sailors and everyone on board.
The important thing is to know where your mistakes are, to know where you lost out, and turn your negatives into positives, Katie.
Yeah, for sure, and there's a reason cliches are cliches. It's 'cause they work.
That's the line of the season so far, Katie.
Can I get that on a T-shirt, please?
Oh, very good.
Anyway, we don't.
Yeah, no, I think just resetting. Yeah.
Go
There
on.
you go.
You have to reset. You have to.
Say, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, resetting, as you say, kind of turning those negatives into positives and trying to kind of find some solid things you can do better the next race and not dwell too much on what went wrong.
And what would be the interpretation of the Gladiator race? You know, they were up and then they just seemed to get into traffic and make some mistakes.
Yeah, I think they had a bit of a tricky start and just couldn't find a way out to that right-hand side. And then I think on that second beat, they went pretty hard out to that left-hand side. I think in this venue at the moment, you kind of need to be chipping away rather than throwing a Hail Mary and going to kind of the opposite side when you know it's such a game feature. So I think if I was on the boat, I'd be like, right, we need to change our strategy. If we're in the trenches, we need to be chipping away at boats rather than trying to do something completely different, because we know that we're in the place we need to be. We just need to pick people off.
Interesting. I think it's going to be a fascinating second race, but there is our rankings after race 1 here in Porto Cervo ROLEX TP52 World Championship. Leaders after race 1, Alkedo Vitamina from Italy, second Teasing Machine from France. From Thailand, Vayu in third, Platoon Aviation in fourth, Sled fifth, Noe back sixth, Crioula seventh, Prevezza eighth, Caballo Loco in ninth. Trinity Racing starting with the 10th, Allegra in 11th. Allegra is sailing with John Kostecki as a tactician, stepping in back to the 52 Super Series after a little bit of an absence. Good to see him back. Alpha Plus in 12th, Paprec 13th, Vudu 14th and Gladiator 15th. I think we're going to go straight into the second race fairly quickly. We'll take a little bit of a break just to regroup and have a quick little bit of hydration. We'll see you again in a few minutes.
Tell me something, it might just take the pain away. See, I've been thinking a million things I want to say. Now I'm looking in your eyes, but I'm wandering to your lips. See, I'm trying to keep it cool while I'm hovering for the kiss. 'Cause I've been needing you like old-fashioned orange slice, sweet like daiquiri with strawberry crushed ice. Know you like a margarita with the high friend of a friend told me you're moving on. Wish I could say I'm surprised, but I'm really not. You were never one for new ones. Couldn't recognize a good thing till it was gone. Did you always see me as replaceable? We think your damage to me was collateral. Well, if I'm being honest and rational, watching you walk out felt natural. Thought we were written in the stars. I had last dreams and tarot cards. I tried to find a remedy for broken hearts, but I know now losing you was my fresh start. To think I've got a degree in making myself smaller for you, and I mastered the art of waiting on your every move. Thank God you're gone. Get out. So long. To think I ever believed I had to make myself smaller for you. You always thought you were the center of the universe, but baby, why do you never learn? You're not the last and you're not the first. Don't open your mouth, you make things worse. To think I've got a degree in making myself smaller for you, and I mastered the art of waiting on your every move. Thank God you're gone. Get out. So long. To think I ever believed I had to make myself smaller for you. Even on a good day, you're a five. You never came through. Be out of my mind. Even on a good day, you're a five. You never came through. Be out of my mind. Thank God you're gone. Get out. So long. There is something wrong. Shouldn't you already know? Should have spelled it out. Let me put it in a song. Every time you make that face, like crawling to a damaged space, out of sync and out of tune. surprised when we've done this all before. I'm not sure the highs really make up for the lows. When words don't work and I get hurt somehow, I feel like I'm the worst. Manipulation overload, but babe, this time I'll steal the show. Please listen close. Stop drumming on my heart, please stop. The rhythm that you're playing is just way up. You're not singing in the right key, check your tone, or soon you'll be a one-man band alone. Stop drumming on my heart, please stop. The rhythm that you're playing is just way up. You're not singing in the right key, check your tone, or soon you'll be a one-man band alone. Stop drumming on my heart. Stop drumming on my heart. Stop drumming on my heart. Out of sync and out of touch, and maybe even out of love. Stop drumming on my heart, please stop. Got me black and blue, making me wanna walk. You're not singing in the right key, check your tone, or soon you'll be a one-man band alone. Stop drumming on my heart, please stop. The rhythm that you're playing is just way up. You're not singing in the right key, check your tone, or soon you'll be a one-man band alone. Stop drumming on my heart.
Palm Beach Motor Yachts, we build for those who lead. This comes from our history in competitive ocean racing, where advanced technologies and a spirit to win shape our every advantage on the water. We carry those lessons into every motor yacht that we design and build, using efficient and balanced hulls to deliver performance that feels effortless. Paired with meticulous craftsmanship and engineering, it creates a quiet confidence you can sense the moment you take the helm. Palm Beach Motor Yachts, from ocean racing innovation to cruising perfection.
Well, indeed, a perfect day for our guests out on the Palm Beach 65, our luxury motor yacht that we have access to for this season. And really, it's a beautiful day to watch the first day of the ROLEX TP52 World Championship. We're inside 4 minutes to start of race 2. Alkedo Vitamina taking the honours in that race 1. Katie, how are things looking? It looks very similar conditions. Wind pressure about the same, about 10 knots.
Yeah, super similar. Maybe actually a click windier, maybe 1 or 2 knots windier. The boat's looking a little bit more powered up, but yeah, similar direction and shaping up to be another pretty nice race.
And you got yourself some lunch, did you?
I did. You actually just caught me with a mouthful of food in my mouth, so yeah. But yeah, so I had a nice little snack.
Momo, what did we learn from that first race then in terms of how we set up for this one?
I think especially with the start line's a little more balanced. I think, yes, the right is still better and you want to start on the right, but I think we saw well with no way back, starting kind of center right is also good, and starting, in the middle in a clear lane is very strong, but Teasing machine coming out to the right, I think starting even second row was very strong. So the right is strong. But I think having a clear start is the kind of the best thing.
Kate, is there a possibility to have added more port end bias?
Yeah, I think there is definitely potential. I mean, the boats were super spread out on that last start with the amount of pin bias that there was, but I still think it still proved that actually being at that starboard end and getting over to that right-hand side quicker was really powerful. So yeah, maybe a click more port end bias, but yeah, it's going to be for me about getting a clear start and then picking your way out to the right hand side as soon as possible.
Momo, your thoughts on the start line?
Yeah, I agree. The right is strong, I think, but it does come with more risk, right? If you're starting trying to start all the way on the right, you might get the door shut and you're all the way back starting in third row. So there's a certain amount of risk involved, which also kind of leads me to think that not starting all the way right and gunning for that clear lane and for full speed at when the gun goes is the way to go.
Katie, how do you see this start line? It's busy. It's all about holding position, no way back. Seem to have a nice little lane there, nice little space for the moment. They've got Allegra just below them. Final seconds. We've still got a minute to go. Everybody's set up quite early, Momo, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely, and you'll always see this in a fleet like this. Sometimes the fleet is a little late, and sometimes the fleet is a little early, but they all kind of move as a pack, because you don't want to be the boat that is on time when the whole fleet is early. That doesn't really help you at all. So you always see them moving together, and yeah, it just really depends on whether they're early or late.
Alkedo Vitamina seem to be quite bow forward on the group towards the committee boat end of the line, just taking a little clearing tack to windward. whether that works there. They're actually in quite an exposed position there, I think. Who's down at the pin end? Katie, Sledder at the pin end. And look like they're tacking
Yeah, you've
back.
got Sled down.
Go on,
Yeah,
Katie.
Sled down at the pin end. It looks like they might be maybe attempting to go off on port behind the fleet, which actually can be quite a strong move if there's such a big right-hand game feature. You've got quite a lot of boats that are going to be pinned out, I think, at the boat end though, so I think that might be
Oh wow, look at
quite
that.
tricky,
A
but,
little left-hander.
I don't think behind the fleet.
Yeah, I don't think behind the fleet. I think they're going to cross the fleet on port. That is a little bit of an audacious move for the team which won 2 regattas on the trot here.
Well, as Katie said nicely, I think they adjusted the start line and they made it even more pin and bias, and Sled has immediately picked up on that. And I mean, that is such a strong move in this fleet, the kind of crossing on port.
But not just crossing relatively comfortable with a lot of boats, Katie.
That was stunning. Yeah, I mean, that was textbook port start. That was so good. And I think they're going to be so powerful going out to that right-hand side. I mean, look at the leverage they've got on all of the boats down at that boat end already, just by making the most of that pin end. Really nailed that time and distance, like went right on the pin and just absolutely smashed it. I mean, perfection.
Perfection indeed. And it's launched them to an early lead. Trinity Racing got away quite nicely. And we can see them bow number 3 jumped forward. We can see No Way Back just working out to the right. Platoon Aviation very much in the mix. Vayu have got a good start too, Momo.
Yeah, they seem right in the mix. Again, I mean, in this start line, not being all the way right paid, and I think they were kind of center of the line, which was pretty strong. And yeah, you see Trinity kind of, apart from Caballo Loco being the furthest boat to the left, and they're also having nice gains. But yeah, Sled with a very dominant move. Something like that you have to pick up on quite early before the start, and then once you commit to that kind of strategy, you have to go for it.
But that leverage increasing all the time for Sled, Katie.
Yeah, they're just looking better and better. I think because they started on port, they're kind of bows level with all of the boats going onto port, and they're in a super strong position, even if they do get a little bit of a right-hand shift into that corner. So you'd expect them to get headed as they're heading towards the shore and then lifted as they're coming out. But even if they do get headed, they're kind of bows level, if not slightly bow forward of a lot of the boats below them. So they're in a super strong position.
I mean, I've watched a lot of TP52 racing over the years. I don't remember a port tack start like that. Not for a long time. So credit to the afterguard, Francesco Bruni and Andrea Vicentini, Murray Jones. They saw that opening up, and they're really taking advantage just now, sailing fast. They're really open lane. They've got boat speed to play with, and Platoon Aviation going nicely as well, Momo.
Yes, and also kind of No Way Back did the same thing they did in the last start. I think good mindset for the first day. If it works, why not do it again? Starting center of the line, out of the trouble, and not gunning to win the race, but also just aiming for consistency.
Katie Gladiator very much in the mix in 4th place.
Yeah, it looked like they got a better start, managed to get off the line a bit better and actually have a clear lane heading out to that right-hand side. I think the bias on the line, it was hit that sweet spot of actually if you do start on the pin end, it's still a gain even though the right-hand side is stronger. But it'll be interesting, Gladiator kind of being one of the first to get out to that right-hand side versus Sled, who took the advantage and is slightly higher up. I think, yeah, Sled for me is going to get it, but yeah, we'll see how those boats that are leading out to the right hand side come back when they tack.
Who's best in the right hand side, Momo?
I mean, I think Gladiator's looking pretty strong. You kind of a fast mode to the right. We've seen kind of pays very nicely. Yeah, Teasing Machine aiming for the right of the start, but just kind of being thrown out and not knowing where to go, so they're having to tack back, and Vudu as well. So quite a tough situation to be in. But yeah, heading fast to the right is strong, and also Platoon have got a a nice position for the right shift that they're probably expecting.
Alkedo Vitamina then our race winner from race 1. A little bit deeper, but working, as Momo said, this fast mode out to the right side. One of the most right hand boats for the moment. Very much liking the position that No Way Back have got themselves into.
Yeah, Alkedo all the way on the right, but Gladiator just being bow forward, seeming to be a little bit faster, which will probably end up in them being ahead. But yeah, No Way Back, playing it safe and playing it fast, staying out of everyone's way. But yeah, Sled leading the charge here.
Well, there we see it. Vayu actually pretty good for that group. As I said, they led after day 1 in Puerto Portals. Could that be the same again here in Porto Cervo?
Well, it's a nice position to be in with with a large chunk of the fleet kind of below you. Again, you can react to what they do, and you don't always have to act. Yeah, it's a great position to be in, very strong, and on the way to the right side of the correct side maybe of the course.
But Sled out on their own, really after that start, capitalising as best they can.
I think at this point, you know, we've already such a margin to the other boats. It is important to also do nothing radical now and stay between you, but stay between the top mark and your competitors. But I think that's exactly what they're going to do, looking out for when the other boats attack, and also, you know, maybe even playing it a little safe on the ley line. Yeah.
Provezza in the mix in 5th just now, 5th or 6th. Trinity having a much better race so far this second race. The Vudu, Alpha Plus and Teasing Machine. Well, Teasing Machine second in the first race. Down in 13th, they have work to do. But such is the nature of this fleet, the nature of this World Championship. That is the consistency that defines the World Championship at the end of the week. And you're seeing some of the boats which were good in the first race quite deep. Alkedo 12th, Teasing Machine 13th just now, 1st and 2nd in the first race. I'm liking the look of Gladiator as well just now, Momo.
Yeah, no, they're above forward on the kind of the group there. Strong position. I think on your comment of the start, Sled keeping an open mind to the start and actually looking at what you see on the water and looking at the line and resetting, as I've said, was important, and it proved to be important because they were, you know, the boat that picked up on the start line being so biased, whilst a lot of the other boats did what they did in the race before and didn't maybe react enough to what they saw on the water.
But they're going well and full of confidence. Sled have the majority of the top half of the fleet to leeward of them. But they have a great setup, Momo, there. They're just super smooth.
Yeah, and you can really, you can engage a fast mode, you know, you don't have any pressure of any other boats and you can do your own thing. And I mean, that's where you can be strong. You can just let your boat run and yeah, keep it fast. Speed is king.
Indeed. Breeze looks fairly solid all the way across the racetrack, Katie, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks pretty settled, pretty filled in. I think the biggest feature on this course, as I said, is that kind of right-hand wind bend. But yeah, pretty settled. Looks pretty nice, honestly. For me, I'm looking at Gladiator's position. They look very similar to the position Teasing Machine was in the first upwind of that last race. Just looking at how the boats are lining up, but there is quite a lot more boats inside them. Everyone seems to be kind of coming into that port hand ley line from a little bit higher up. So yeah, I think maybe breeze is up a little bit more, speeds are a bit higher, so maybe they're looking a bit more for pressure as well, not just for the game feature. So yeah, potentially a slightly more open race course. Open minds, as Momo was saying, is super important. Keeping your mind open and not just assuming that things are going to be the same.
But certainly Gladiator in a quite strong position. We'll see how that gain feature works for them. no way back in a good position, but it's going to be interesting to watch how the fleet shapes up after this tack, after the boat's going to starboard.
I think it's going to be a difficult time for Alkedo, to be honest. They're gonna. It looks a little like, I mean, they're starting to get that right shift. All of the boats on the right, but still, it may end up with them lining up behind everyone on that ley line.
Gladiator, we could just see Tony Langley and Victor Diaz de Leon in conversation. Victor telling Tony what he sees, and in that dynamic, I think Katie, you can back this up, but I think Keiji Parada, though he's helmsman, he's always part of the decision-making routine. I would say he's been here many times and has more experience, along with Navigator. They've been here many times before and have won before. So in terms of strategy, I think Keiji really part of the mix.
Yeah, very much so. And I mean, he obviously was doing tactics last season when Tony was helming. So the kind of the roles there, all of that group are very capable of doing any of the roles. So I think it's a lot more fluid discussion. I think the only thing maybe to watch out for is sometimes there can be like a too many cooks situation. But I'm sure they've got that all covered, and it seems to be all right at the moment.
Yeah, so they've just tacked out. Clear lead for Sled.
Platoon going behind, which I think is a wise decision.
But they're quite close, aren't they?
I think what you saw quite nicely on Sled just now is the jib trimmer always, playing with the jib tack, which is to windward, and reacting to every puff. Having your weight out on the rail, but also adjusting the jib seems to work quite well for them.
But they're certainly going well. Paprec there just to leeward in top 5 position. Positions changing slightly.
Yeah, Alkedo going and Gladiator going early on the ley line. I think they know that they're kind of in the mix and waiting until all the boats have tacked, which means that you kind of overstand the ley line way too much. So they're having to go into the fleet. Tough position, but trying to just have a bit of clear air is the way to go there.
So if you just joined us, we're in race 2 of the ROLEX TP52 World Championship here in Porto Cervo. It's race 2, day 1. Winner of the first race were the Italian team on Alkedo Vitamina. They're in 11th in this race. Teasing Machine took second and are in 14th just now. And Vayu, I think, then would be our regatta leaders, potentially, as they were in Porto Portals a month ago. We'll have a look at that once we get round this top mark. Our geeks at Geo Racing, and I'm quite sure can give us a perfect after the top mark. We'll have a look at that. But Gladiator just going into their tack. Not sure what they were shouting at Momo.
I think they were trying to get the other boats to tack.
Yeah, trying to get Allegra to tack.
Yeah. I think we'll see how No Way Back comes back in there, but also in a good position. Although, yeah, I like Vayu's position. They're, they've got good margin to the ley line, can sail fast, and only have No Way Back, maybe potentially to worry about.
But a good lead for Sled, as you said, Momo. No Way Back looking good in second. Vayu will be third around the top mark, I think.
Well, yeah, as a leading boat like Sled, it's just on the navigator to kind of call the right ley line. But yeah, there's no need to make it too tight. You want to be going fast to the mark, but also not sailing too much distance. So that's very much up to the navigator to hit that ley line perfectly.
Navigator on No Way Back is Michele Avaldi. Navigator on Sled is Andrea Vicentini. We have 5 Italian navigators in this fleet, 15 boats. But it's looking still not super breezy, is it? But good ley line, I think, called from Sled, as you said, Momo. Not too conservative. No need to be, but not giving away any distance.
Yeah, there we see no way back going back in, and it's potentially getting a little tight with Vayu.
Vayu here holding on starboard.
Yeah, what you saw there was a jib trimmer kind of pulling in the jib. If you see no way back coming there, you know you're going to maybe have to push a bit of a high mode. So he, in that moment, you kind of try and push the bow up a little. And that's what you saw the jib trimmer jumping in there to do.
Settling in. Anyway, no mistaking who's leading round this top mark. Sled with a comfortable lead. And you'd only expect them to extend, as we've seen before, from this position many times. Really settled team, great teamwork coming across the offset leg. Looking like it's going to be super close between No Way Back and Vayu at this top mark, Momo.
Yeah, I think it was a very good decision of No Way Back to tack under them, as you can see. And if you can tack under the boat and then make ley line easily, that's perfect. But yeah, looking at the set here, it's No Way Back coming around ahead of Vayu, but yeah, definitely close to each other.
There we go, Vayu coming around the top mark on board shot there from the Thai team, the Whitcraft family. Bow number 27 there. Round, I think, in fourth will be Gladiator bow number 4. Sparkling conditions, really.
Looking like Vayu is going to set up for
Caballo Loco getting through next beside Paprec.
jibe set here. Vayu definitely liking the jibe set today.
Definitely. So Caballo Loco just behind Paprec, then Prevezza. Then behind them, Allegre. Platoon Aviation a little bit deeper than they'd want to be, having got fourth in that first race. Then Trinity Racing. So very much a day of two halves, I think, for the Italian team on Alkedo Vitamina. They're round in 11th.
What's definitely nice is once you've made that call for a jibe set, looking around and seeing all the boats behind you do one as well, definitely makes you feel happy about yourself and
your
not
choice.
being too much under threat from behind.
That's right. Alpha Plus then, they're round in 12th, 13th, Crioula. But this is the thing in a 15-boat fleet. You're 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th round the top mark. It's a long way and hard battle, a mountain to climb to get back into the top half of the fleet.
Yeah, you can see Platoon having to push high there, but that hurts. You're not going in the right direction.
Yeah.
You may be going fast, but your VMG is pretty bad.
Correspondingly then, Alkedo Vitamina just electing to sail away from the fleet on this downwind. What do we think, Katie, on this downwind? Do you think Alkedo Vitamina can pull anything back? They're quite deep then in 11th.
Yeah, I think they're pretty deep, but actually I quite like what they've done. I think it is a little bit more open potentially this race. I mean, the slight stand-on the downwinds I think can be powerful, especially because as we're seeing on all of those other boats that have jibe sat, they're all just keeping each other high, and I think actually giving Alkedo giving themselves the space to be able to sail normal angles and proper VMG, I think they could hopefully make some gains, and I think just trying to chip away rather than doing anything too crazy, just trying to chip away, sail kind of fastest route to the mark, VMG, and I reckon I would like to think they would take some places based on that kind of strategy.
So on board with Vayu lying third just now, Don Whitcraft on the helm, Momo.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very intuitive driver. He's done years of 49er sailing, and yeah, he's definitely got the feeling. Yeah, but they're looking quite relaxed.
But I mean, what?
Swivel.
Yeah, exactly. What a life for him. He's a geology student, I think, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He was telling me yesterday about digging around in some lake in center of Spain. So that's what he does when he's not sailing on Vayu.
What a life as a student, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and his brother Dylan doing the jib trim. So they are definitely in control. Yeah, but a strong combination. They've done so many years of sailing that you can feel that there's an intuitive nature about the two.
Indeed, anyway, they're going well. Gladiator in 4th, Paprec 5th, the Caballo Loco 6th. It's great to see. I think Caballo Loco really started to find their place in the fleet, you'd have to say, after I think 6th in Puerto Portal, 6th equal from memory.
I think you can see quite nicely here the difference between a sled that can sail their own race and the whole group there together. No way back setting the tone, and on a downwind you're going to have to stay above the boat ahead of you. There's no way of getting through to leeward, so no way back can set the tone and can it looks like they're doing a bit of a faster mode.
Anyway, everybody pushing out to the left side, as you were saying, Mo, on this downwind sailing. A little bit of extra distance. Was that going to work for Alkedo Vitamina coming down more directly on that right side? We'll see how that plays out.
Tricky. I mean, if you've got all the boats fighting each other on the right side, you might be the happy winner going to the other side doing your own thing. But again, they had to try something. And yeah, this is kind of their attempt to get back at the fleet.
Let's have a quick look at our projected standings. We're coming down this first run, race 2 of the day. Sled would be leading on 6 points. Vayu on the same points. No Way Back on 9. Alkedo Vitamini 12 and Platoon Aviation 12 also. 15 for Teasing Machine. So everything to play for. It's going to be between Sled and Vayu on this race. Sled can't do anything more than they're already doing, Momo, can they?
No, absolutely. They're doing the right thing, sailing their own race. I think for No Way Back, it was pretty important to be the first one to jibe out of there, or else you're going to have the kind of effective breeze from everyone else. But they've done that nicely. Now it's the question of kind of getting down to the gates and which gate you're going to choose.
But interesting race course here, Katie, isn't it? It's almost kind of landlocked in some respects, isn't it?
Yeah, very much being tucked up under this land. Yeah, I mean, there's land all around, so it can kind of, a slight change in wind direction brings quite different features to the course. But in this direction, we're pretty close under that right-hand side. Yesterday, some of the boats tried to go out to the left-hand side on this race course, and it just wasn't quite as strong because we're not quite as close to land on that side. But yeah, it's a really interesting and really exciting spot to be racing in.
Indeed, and the great thing is it's only 2 o'clock local time. We're just almost halfway through race 2. It's such as life here in Porto Cervo. When it's good, it's great. But really, it's looking good for Sled just now. Over 200 metres clear. They can look back and watch the battle going on behind them. That battle has been led just now by No Way Back, who just eased ahead of Vayu. So Katie, Gladiator having a better race.
Yeah, very much so at the moment. I think just kind of have to kind of keep calm and try and consolidate it, but I think credit to them for kind of managing to come back from what like the roller coaster from probably yesterday's 2 race wins in the practice racing to coming here and getting a last in the first race of the regatta. I mean, that's a lot of emotion and a lot of different things to deal with in your head, and I think being able to come back and kind of perform from all of that is really impressive.
No, completely. I mean, winning both the practice races, or let's call it winning. They didn't go through there was no finish line per se, but they led both the practice races. It creates a high expectation, no matter who you are.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, took so much confidence from that, and I think they were really nailing their starts yesterday and all of that kind of stuff. So they took a lot of confidence from that, but I think they were also very aware that it is quite a game feature kind of day, and that today is going to be the same, and they are aware that everyone's going to be quite switched on to that, so they knew it was going to be a bit harder. But yeah, just didn't quite execute in that first one, but hopefully they're still aware that they've got it in them, and they just need to switch it back on.
I think you see the same for Teasing Machine and Alkedo. I mean, leading in the first race, getting a 1 and 2 does build the pressure, and as much as you want to reset, it kind of builds up something in your mind, and yeah, I think now they're struggling, and you can see that the same thing happened to Gladiator after the practice races, so it's quite a mental game.
But that's the measure of a regatta winning team and a championship winning team, isn't it? It's being able to just maintain that high level of consistency, no way back, or Terry Hutchison and that crew, or the past masters at that, and Platoon Aviation, when they're on song, are good at that. A little bit patchy in the last year or year and a bit, but really, and Sled, who we're just looking at just now, they're really probably one of the best teams in terms of that level of consistency and putting any kind of high expectations to bed, and just working on what they see, sticking to the processes and maintaining the level-headed mindset. However, would we say that was high-risk start, or was it just an opportunity that opened up, Momo?
I think they just saw the opportunity and took it. Was it high risk? Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a certain amount of risk involved, but worst case, you'd kind of have to cross the fleet behind.
Or worst case, tack and lead out to the left,
yeah.
You know.
But you can definitely see from Sled now, you know, they've got time to come into this maneuver properly, and you saw the bowman double, triple checking that nothing goes wrong. And yeah, I think they're going to probably have a pretty nice maneuver. They've had the time to set everything up perfectly. So
Katie Sled with a nice big lead coming through this lower gate. What's the upwind looking like, and what will they do through the gate?
Yeah, so I think they'll probably do something relatively similar to the first upwind. They've got a bit of a gap between them, so if they can go around this right-hand mark, get above the fleet, and then kind of tack and kind of cover them all the way to the mark, keep between the fleet and the mark, then I reckon that's going to be their strategy. I think it's a sensible decision to go round this right-hand mark looking downwind, because then you don't have to sail through all of the dirty air of the kites. So get themselves clear and then tack over. It looks like quite a lot of the fleet is potentially going to be following them around this mark, so that plays even more into their hands, because they just then, defend, cover the fleet, and hopefully extend on their lead.
Pretty nice for Sled to see the other boats following them around. That's a comfortable feeling.
What a great drop from No Way Back. You just see that, the string drop down in a second, wasn't it, Momo?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these boats, the drops are just such a gain. You can basically drop the kite in one boat length. You've got all four big guys grinding it in, and it's if you get it right, and if you spike the halyard and the sheet at the right point, you can get it down in a boat length.
So there we go. And away, No Way Back round in second, Vayu in third.
I think what you saw quite
Gladiator
nicely on Gladiator there is around the bottom mark, you kind of want the mainsail to come in first and then the jib to follow. It just helps the boat turn around the mark, and you don't want it to be other way around, where the jib is tighter than the main, because that'll just make your rounding a little bit worse. But they did a good job there.
On board with Paprec, just coming round Lure Gate. They're going round the left-hand mark. We'll get it. Sorry, right-hand mark looking upwind. Their left-hand mark coming downwind. They're heading out to the right.
Yeah, you saw there big grind for the runner trimmer on Paprec. On the downwind, you probably have a runner tension of 2 tons, and you're going up to max or close to max runner tension, which is up around the 7-8 tons. So yeah, big grinds for him around the bottom mark.
But those tensions going up all the time with each successive generation of boats, really.
Yeah, headstay tension is definitely
It's
something
king.
that the boats have been working on, and just speed out of the start and on the first upwind is the most important in the race. So optimizing the boats to perform better on an upwind has been the key. And yeah, these runner and forestay tensions have been going up incrementally. I think some boats even reaching 10 tons, which definitely is a lot.
So it's a little bit of a TP52 geek, I would guess. It's like Disneyland for you.
Yeah, I mean, after losing the rig on Red Bandit, I've spent a lot of time in Mast World for the last few months, and lots of conversations about headstay tension, but we've also decided to go for more. So yeah, it seems more is better.
So just while we've got a quick moment, give us an introduction to your background. You run the Red Bandit program.
Yeah, I run the Red Bandit program. It's an older TP52, actually used to sail in the Med Cup, the precursor to the Super Series, in 2008, 9 and 10. And yeah, we're a youth foundation. We kind of try and get the most talented young sailors out of the dinghies onto a TP52, and then also teach them how to sail this boat offshore and just in general a TP52. But it's the perfect platform for young sailors because it is a very intuitive boat. You have a tiller and it really reacts to crew weight, so it is the perfect platform to have young guys sailing on.
So your boat is based where?
It's based in France, in Cogola, but our aim is to go back to the Admiral's Cup and show what we're made out of after losing the rig last year during the Admiral's Cup.
But a German flag team.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. But quite international in the young guys that were getting it in. We had over 100 applicants last year, and all very good sailors, but just kind of having to find some opportunity into the big boat game. So I really hope to see more young sailors stepping up in the Super Series as well.
Hopefully we'll see some feeding through in the next few years into the Super Series. But it's great to have you here, great to see you learning the micro details of what you're seeing on the screen.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's good to watch and talk about the teams that I've been watching for a while.
So on board with the Gladiator then, just watching Victor Diaz de Leon, the current world champion indeed, sailed with American Magic Quantum Racing, winning the circuit title and the World Championship title last year alongside Terry Hutchison, and electing to join Gladiator this year.
Yeah, you definitely see them in conversation the whole time. Victor is also trimming the runner at that point, so you definitely see Tony looking around and looking at the race course. But I think they've probably got constant dialogue going on, and yeah, especially with the driver.
Anyway, No Way Back looking quite solid in second, Katie, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're looking pretty nice to me. I think done a really nice job. Like Sled's kind of racing their own race at this point. They've got such a big lead that they're kind of, if I was No Way Back, I would be thinking we probably can't get to Sled, so we're going to race as if we're leading the race and we need to defend from everyone else. So they have led most of the fleet back out across to the right-hand side, looking like a really strong position. Probably going to get to that lay line, hopefully nail the lay line, and then maybe try and extend on them. But yeah, I'd be probably racing as if I was in the lead if I was them right now.
That's anyway, they're pretty much doing that. Vayu 2 in good shape, Gladiator 4th, Paprika up to 5th. Not such a great start to the regatta for them, but proving their true colours are the French team. So there are our points, projected points at the moment. 6 for Sled, 6 for Vayu, 8 for No Way Back, 11 for Platoon Aviation. Alkedo Vitamina presently in 5th with 12 points. Caballo Loco in 15 points. That would be a nice opening to the regatta for the team, which has just joined us this year. 2 Brazilian teams now. Crioula, I mistakenly said, got them mixed up, but they were actually shared 6th place overall in Puerto Portals. A little bit deeper just now, but a really interesting opening day. not too many big changes from expectations at the front of the fleet then. I think Sled were narrow favourites by most people's books. Won here at the back end of last season. This is the first time we've been here since 2014 for a World Championship. 2014 we lost a couple of days to no breeze at all, but this time of year, Momo, you can get everything, can't you? You were here for Sardinia Cup and you had Mistral for most of the week, and probably the average wind speed was in the 20s.
Yeah, we had a blowout week with the offshore race starting in kind of 35 knots. Totally different Porto Cervo to what we're seeing now. Also completely different wind direction. But it is a great venue. It's a great scenery in the background, and the scenery is not only aesthetic; it's also pretty important for the tactics on the course. As you can see, the right side is as good as it is because of the kind of the land effect there, and so stunning place to sail, but not always easy.
And what are we thinking for later on in the week? We're seeing this for the next few days.
I think the forecast seems similar to this, similar direction, again, this thermal breeze building, it'll depend day to day on the cloud coverage and how much heating there is going on the land, but
Katie, is there any chance of some Mistral this week? What's your thoughts?
Not from what I've seen. I think it's all going to be quite, light wind gradient and then into sea breeze. It's meant to be warming up towards the end of the week. It's a pretty hot week out here, so I've not seen any Mistral, but it would be pretty exciting if we did get some, to be fair.
It would be nice to get a little bit of a variety. We did get some good variety in Puerto Portals, finishing up on the final day with some offshore breezes.
Also maybe not exactly what the teams were expecting. I definitely saw a lot of the teams preparing J3s and J4s. I think they came here prepared for everything, and now it's looking like these moderate conditions.
Certainly not too taxing physically on board with the Vayu. What are they looking at, Momo, just now?
They were kind of getting close to Paprik there. They've elected to attack below, which we'll see how they come out. But if you're going to attack below, you have to be pretty sure you're bow forward enough to gain from the other boat. And then very soon after tacking and gaining your speed, you're going to have to start going into this high mode. You see the jib trimmer with his legs inboard. He's pulling on the jib tack, and he's going to keep his legs inboard for probably a little bit here to get the mode right.
So they have a target speed that he'll reach, and then he'll pull the Traveller in.
Important is not to over trim after the tack. Gain the speed, and height comes from speed, not the other way around. So really important to get to target speed and then work your way up. Big mistake to kind of over trim after the tack and completely park the boat, especially in a situation like that where you're tacking underneath a boat. That might be very costly.
It's all about pressure over the foils, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's been the big topic for this season. With this bigger fleet, you want several of the teams have moved to a bigger fin, giving them more grip upwind.
Yeah, and especially in the pre-start, so the teams have all gone for slightly bigger rudders to just give you, more flow at low speed. I'm now in rudder world because we also broke our rudder during Sardinia Cup, and we've been talking to designers, and they very clearly said that all the teams have elected to lose a little bit of top speed for the gain that you have of having a bigger rudder at the start. So again, this all plays into starting being
by top speed. You mean losing or gaining a little bit of drag?
Yes, yeah. So that little bit of drag, they're all taking into account, and they're all happy to have those bigger rudders off the start line, and especially that low speed control is super important in positioning yourself ahead of the start.
But it's interesting to say all that. But Sled, as far as we know, have got the same configuration as last year. It really didn't do anything in particular to the boat, and indeed didn't go to any of the the training sessions. There was a training session in Palma and a training session in Valencia around about Easter, leading into Palma Vela, and then our first regatta sled really came with the same setup as last year.
Well, it's also important to know when something's good and not
That's what they say,
to over-optimize.
That's right. If it's not broken, don't try and fix it.
Yeah.
Anyway, they have extended nicely on this second upwind, Katie, haven't they? Under no pressure.
Yeah, I think, they just were able to sell their own race, kind of keep clear, sell VMG. No notes. But I do think honourable mention to Paprec, who, when split around the leeward marks, opted to take the opposite mark to everyone else and seemed to have climbed potentially up to third if they can make this ley line. They might have jumped in front of Vayu and Gladiator, so really well sailed by them if they can manage to make this windward mark.
It was great with C. Paprec. We've done a nice interview with Loic Perron yesterday. We're producing a 26-minute documentary after each regatta, which is going out to, I think, 70 broadcasters around the world. It's a new challenge for us, but Loic really was in great form yesterday. He's a sailor who's achieved so much in his life, from holding the Jules Verne record, winning the Route de Rome, second the Vendée Globe, and this is what he chooses to do. He'll do a little bit of Mod 70 sailing later on the year, I think, but at the moment this is what he's loving most of all. It's about the small incremental gains, and it's about the windward leewards. It's all still relatively new to him. He just picked it up as his later life challenge.
Well, you can't spend all your time in the Southern Ocean. I
No, you
think
can't.
It's nice to have a holiday here in Porto Cervo.
No, but he's a fantastic character, and it's about the learning as a team, learning how to evolve the boat, and he's got a great team round about him, and they really shone last year. Just missed out, but he said they come to each regatta with no expectations, just as Tony Langley said, really sticking to the processes and making sure that they sail their best in every single race, making as few mistakes as possible.
Yeah, I mean, sled opting not for the jibe set to go straight, but then also to follow the boats again to that strong left-hand side of the course. I think it's probably a wise decision not to go for a jibe set. It is sometimes a bit of a riskier maneuver, more risk of ripping the kite, and you're sailing through the dirty air of the boats on the spreader leg. So, safe option to go for a straight set, early jibe, and no way back. And Paprec and Vayu doing a jibe set there to get to that left-hand side of the course.
But as Katie said, credit to Paprec getting up to third for the moment. Little fun fact then, 2 sailors in this fleet have finished the Vendée Globe. Peter Harima in second place, no way back, the owner-driver, and of course Loic on Paprec in third. Not sure whether it's on the radar for any of the Whitcrafts.
Well, I've brought Dylan along for a few trips on Red Bandit, so his first offshore race was with us, and he definitely enjoyed it. It was a bit different, but no, he's a very, very good sailor, and you can really tell that he's had a lot of days on a TP52, so he's quite a value add for our team as well.
But he's been doing a lot of sailing, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he spends most of his time sailing and has a lot.
But not just on the Vayu. He's been in lots of different programs all over.
I think he also sails on Fox and
in the US.
Yeah, I mean, mostly TP52s, but all the experience he can get, and that's his attitude. He just loves sailing, and he loves sailing on these boats, and he's willing to do it all the time. Not like his brother, who does enjoy fishing around in lakes in Spain.
Does he? Hey, well, anyway, Vayu round in fourth, Gladiator fifth, Platoon Aviation in sixth, Caballo Loco seventh, Allegra up to eighth. Just little baby steps for them, with John Kostecki on board as tactician this regatta, working with double silver medalist Luke Patience. First time they've sailed together, up to eighth. Alkedo Vitamina in 9th, Preveza 10th, and Crioula in 11th.
I mean, nice gains for Alkedo. Obviously, 9th is probably not where they want to be, but still working your way back from 13th or 12th is pretty strong, and every point counts in this fleet. So important there not to give up and to keep on chipping away.
And of course, Katie, we're looking at this all the time, and in some respects as a world championship. We're looking at each race as a world championship race, but it's all about the circuit, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so, and it's kind of savage in a way because you don't have any discards, and especially when you add a 15-boat fleet into the mix, you have one breakage or one really bad race, and then suddenly that's 15 points added to your score. So it's not just thinking about the day or the race or the event. It's thinking about the whole series, which is quite a lot to wrap your head around.
Absolutely, and so many times in the recent years, not just the top places have been settled by just a single point here and there, but all the way through the fleet, a point, a place can make all the difference on the final day of the season, and you can look back with anguish at the small mistakes that maybe have cost a place here and there. But it's a long season, we in some respects up to 50 races, and there we see the projected standings just now. Then Sled would be leading by a single point from Vayu. No Way Back would be a point further behind. That would be our top three. Alkedo Vitamina would be fourth on 10 points along with Platoon. Then a little bit of a gap to Teasing Machine, but I say it's a long season, up to 50 races, but it's amazing because this is suddenly we go to Lanzarote, and halfway through Lanzarote, you're halfway through the season, Momo.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes quickly. Just looking at the standings here, I mean, Platoon have not been out the front in these two races, but they're staying consistent in the middle, and as we know, consistency pays. So I'm also interested to see what they'll do during the next 4 days.
Indeed, our two Brazilian teams in 8th and 9th just now, Caballo Loco and Crioula, two teams that are really good friends. And obviously Crioula were here first, as it were, joined the circuit 2 seasons ago, wasn't it? And they have encouraged and motivated Caballo Loco to come and join us this season. Nice to see them in the 8th and 9th positions in the fleet just now. But no surprises then who's leading this regatta, who's leading this race. Sled, Adam Bischel steering once again this week.
Yeah, I mean, with a start like that, they can be really, really happy with themselves. Maybe it'll even end up on Checo Bruni's wall, the picture of that start.
We'll wait and see, yeah.
That's quite a thing to do.
Great collection of talents on board Sled. America's Cup to 49er Racing. Adam Bischel was in the 49er at one stage, as indeed was Francesco Bruni. But so much experience all the way through that team, Momo, isn't there?
Absolutely. Interesting little bit of a split between Vayu and Paprec. Vayu electing to kind of drive out of there a bit earlier, and Paprec deciding to continue. So, let's see how that plays out into the finish.
But that's a big lead, Katie, isn't it, for Sled? Not the first time we've seen this situation, and not indeed the last, you would imagine.
No, very much not. And you kind of think of Sled, I mean, when you think of Sled, they're super consistent. They don't really make mistakes. They stay out of trouble, and so it's kind of no surprise that they are in this position. And when I think of Sled, I think more of their dominance in the windy stuff, their crazy upwind mode in the super top end stuff, but actually they're just as good in the light winds, and today they've very much proved that.
I think they made a breakthrough here, and I think it was 2019 we raced here. At the end of the season, they found a new mode, they had new sails, and I think they won 5 races back to back, which at that point was a record for the fleet. But that was a long time ago, and there's no team can dominate like that, although Sled are doing a pretty good job just now. No Way Back, I think, Momo. They're just it's step by step, it's small incremental gains as far as the way they sail the boat, and still learning, although obviously I think 75% of the team come from Quantum. It's all about the fine detail, isn't it?
Absolutely, making zero mistakes and looking for every inch and making every maneuver perfect in this fleet is super important. And I think, I mean, they have so much experience that you could see that really paying out there, getting all the guys that have sailed this series in these boats for decades back on the boat. Works pretty well.
But it's a big challenge for a newcomer to steering these boats. It's the small details. It's the percentage here and there.
I think what
the time on the boat, time on the helm. There's no substitute for that.
Yeah, what we've learned is these boats are very difficult to helm. You've got this knife edge of performance which you're chasing, and it's really not easy to helm. It is quite intuitive with a tiller, but still you cannot look away for a second, and you cannot lose concentration for a second, because that'll immediately show up in the numbers.
Adam Bischel, such a strong sailor in his own right, wasn't a coach boat previously, and I think normally when Mr. Akura's not here we'd be back in the coach boat, but he's done pretty much everything Olympic sailing in the, say, 49er, America's Cup sailing with Team New Zealand. Anyway, they're heading in for their first race, a win here in Porto Cervo, Katie, aren't they?
Yeah, very much so. Very, very dominant race. Yeah, convincing win from where I'm sat.
In fact, they only won one race in Porto Cervo, the penultimate race of the regatta. Finished, though, 9 points clear of Platoon Aviation in Mallorca. Platoon Aviation still had a couple of really big scores in their second place, 11th in the second race and 10th in the race number 7. 9 races sailed in Puerto Portals. Let's see what we get here, but certainly 2 out of 2. 2 different boats are winning today, and that is a race win for Sled, who will top the table at the end of the day, I think.
They really look comfortable. I mean, taking down the sails before the finish line is definitely also
very relaxed.
Yeah.
But I think, Katie, one of the great things about the Sled team that you see is they really all enjoy each other's company. There's lots of banter in a very kind of low-key way, if you know what I mean. It's fun and it's frivolous in some respects, but it really keeps the team together, and that's what helps when you have the bad days. They're few and far between at the moment for Sled.
Yeah, I think team dynamics are so important. I mean, when you have a good day, it's just there's nothing better than having a good day when you're surrounded by people that you enjoy being around. And then when you have a bad day, it really lifts the mood. So team dynamics and kind of getting on and all of that is super important.
Anyway, that's all a learning process just now for No Way Back. Anyway, a second, believe it or not, that's their best result of the season so far. They obviously got third in Puerto Portals, but their best results, they were a pair of thirds. And their third there was a product of consistency. One big score, a 10th in race 4 there, but otherwise they were all solid scores. And then it's going to be close between Vayu and Paprec Momo. Who's going to get it?
Ooh, close, but
Vayu.
Vayu, yeah. I mean, great move from Manu there to drive away early and go for a little bit of an attack. That's, yeah, very strong move. Very happy for the boys.
Indeed, and no...
But also Paprec, yeah.
I mean, Paprec...
Strong way back. 4th place is really strong, and working your way up, chipping away, worked for them.
Indeed, they were 4th in the first round, finishing 4th, so they can't really have any complaints. They got themselves up to 3rd, but good score for the French in 4th. And Gladiator coming through in 5th, much better than race 1 when they had a 15th.
Yeah,
So
I think
food
it's
for
nice
thought.
to end the day on a 5th and not a 15th. Definitely lifts the mood a little bit. Yeah, I think there's more to come from that team in the next few days as well.
Indeed, it's all a learning process for them just now. Again, with that afterguard, Bruno's the relay navigator, worked with Gigi Parada for so many years, so many different boats, so they know each other. But otherwise, with Tony and Victor Diaz de Leon, it's all relatively new. So 2 Brazilian boats finishing one after the other. There's Allegre just coming through. Say John Costecchi joining Allegre as tactician. So work in progress. Actually, Caballo Loco getting through in 7th, Allegre in 8th. These races are, the finishes are much longer with 15 boats, Katie, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. There's so many more names to remember as well.
That's my problem. Anyway, Alkedo then come through with 9th, Momo. It could have been worse.
Yeah, I mean, really strong effort from them to kind of gain those positions back. The week is long. There's a lot to come, and not having an absolute shocker like last or second last is really good from them, and also mentally, not losing hope and not giving up in a race, but fighting back, gaining each position is it's good.
So Provezza coming away with 10th. Not really what they would want. They led into the final day, I think, in Puerto Portals. Again, a work in progress. Colli Parada took over as a tactician here at the end of last season. Santi Langa stepped into the race boat from the coach boat and is backing him up as strategist. Again, though, a little bit of a work in progress, I think. Crioula 11th, Alpha plus 12th. Trinity coming through. There's Joachim Sundberg, the owner-driver, just looking back, shoulders going down. Unfortunately, Momo, it's a baptism of fire in this fleet. I think they ended up with quite high expectations because they won, I think, the second race of their entire careers, and then they had a horrific, actually first day of their careers, they had an 8th and a 1st, and then of course they had that problem with the main halyard in race 3 in Puerto Portals. And so it's really a work in progress. It's going to be chipping away. It's about climbing the leaderboard, regatta by regatta for them.
Definitely a baptism of fire for Vudu.
And Vudu too.
I mean, they're a strong team. We sailed the RC Worlds against them, and I think they won those. So it definitely speaks for the level of sailing here in this fleet. Coming in, and they are a very strong team, and it's a good boat. But yeah, a baptism of fire. The level here is so incredibly high that nothing gets given to you. Especially in a course like this, where it's it's kind of a little bit of a one-way track, and the only option, if you like, is seeing what happened with Sled coming off that start line when there's so much port bias. But a great race and a great way to start the regatta, Katie.
Yeah, really great. I mean, great 2 races, honestly. Yeah, it's really nice to see different boats mixing it up at the top, like super competitive battles all the way through the fleet. I think, yeah, it's a really exciting fleet, really exciting race course.
And it's only 2:30, Katie.
The day is young. I mean, where's the 3rd race? Let's just add more. Give me more.
Exactly. What's your plans? Tea and cake?
Well, I had done. Yeah, this was my plan. This is my life.
No, exactly. Tell us about your life then. You say you've changed from the FX going kiting again.
Yeah, kind of made the decision to move back into the kite. The FX was super fun, but that was, for a number of reasons, made the decision to move back. One being that my fabulous helm, unfortunately, injured herself pretty badly at the Worlds, so she's out for a little bit. But it was great fun. Yeah, it was the most fun ever. But moved back to kiting, and we're going to see how that goes. So I got my first event in LA in next month in July. So just throwing myself into the deep end.
Good for you. Why wouldn't you? But But anyway, what a great way to start the regatta. Say the breeze as if to order. It's a nice early start to the regatta, isn't it? Getting things done and dusted by 2:30 in the day, Momo.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very German and efficient, actually.
Oh well, I'll leave everyone else to interpret that. But look at the standings. It's tight at the top, as they say. Sled and Vayu, a 5 and a 1 for Sled, a 3 and a 3 for Vayu, leading the regatta, or sharing the lead for the regatta after day one. Vayu leading sharing the lead, if you like, as they did in Puerto Portals. Wonder what they've learned and how they'll approach tomorrow. No way back then, super consistent, 6 and a 2 for an 8. Alkedo Vitamina, 1 and a 9 for 10. 10 points also for Platoon Aviation, 4 and 6. Teasing Machine, a little bit of a roller coaster for the French team with a 2nd and a 14th. 16 points also for Caballo Loco, our newcomers to the circuit. 9th and a 7th, and a 15-boat fleet is not bad at all. Paprec, a 13th and a hard-earned, well-deserved 4th in the second race. Crioula, 7 and 11 for 18, 1 point behind Paprec. 18 points also for Provezza, 19 points for Allegri Gladiator, 15 and 5 for 20, 23 for Trinity Racing. Alpha Plus, a tough day for them with a 12 and a 12th. And Vudu, our newcomers, as Momo said, baptism of fire for them. You don't know what they come in terms of expectation. We spoke with Michele Regolo, as you all heard at the beginning of the broadcast. Limited expectations, really coming here to learn, and they will have learned some lessons today which they will apply tomorrow. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Great job, Momo, here in the commentary booth. Great job. Wonderful to have you back, Katie, on the water. And we'll join you again tomorrow here in Porto Cervo for day 2. Thank you so much.
At Palm Beach Motor Yachts, we build for those who lead. This comes from our history in competitive ocean racing, where advanced technologies and a spirit to win shape our every advantage on the water. We carry those lessons into every motor yacht that we design and build, using efficient and balanced hulls to deliver performance that feels effortless. Paired with meticulous craftsmanship and engineering, it creates a quiet confidence you can sense the moment you take the helm. Palm Beach Motor Yachts, from ocean racing innovation to cruising perfection.